Cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports Cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports Cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports Cards is a lifestyle. Sports Cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
What is up, everybody? Here we go. Welcome to another episode of the Fanatics Collect Weekly Hockey Auction Ending Watch Party for November the 3rd, 2024. My name is Jeremy Lee, and his name is Josh Madigan of the Gong Show. Josh, here we go. How are you?
I'm awesome. What's up? Hello, everybody in the chat. Let's have a great show.
We got some auctions to look at on Fanatics. Lots of listings this week, actually. Over 200 for the first time in a while that we've seen. We've got several favorites. I noticed that they've changed the navigation on the website. I just noticed this today. You saw that too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that I am not seeing is a counter for how many items are on the watch list. Did you see that?
Yeah, and you can't change the amount of items per page right now either.
Oh, look at that. That's gone too. I just see that now as I'm looking for it. Yeah, okay. Well, little changes here and there. I'm sure they got a plan. We'll come along as time goes by, and we'll navigate our way through it. The other thing they're doing is they're I'll just share the screen so you can see here. So here's the new right now. Instead of, there used to be a bunch of options here, like my favorites or all items and a few others, completed and that. And now it's my activity. If you click on it, you can watch what you can do, what you're bidding or what you've bid on. So they've split those apart. That's interesting. But also they're showing you, they used to only give you the one prior closed auction. Now they're going back and you're seeing 5 separate weeks of auctions here all at once that you can now, look at if you want to look at the last 3 weeks have ended, this week or next week's, which is already live. And then we'll see a preview here probably by next Thursday as well. This remains the same, selecting your different categories, sports cards, TCGs, other categories, go by authenticator, pricing, and eye appeal. So those are all the same. But yeah, Josh, it's interesting. They took a little button away right here that let you choose how many listings per page you wanted. Best value. I think that might be a new one too.
Yep. So
I don't know how they've recently integrated Card Ladder predicted values, I believe, or estimated values. And I'm guessing that the best value is a measure of the delta between the current bid and that Card Ladder value is my guess. I'm not 100% certain on that, but we're going to go by earliest year just to keep it, somewhat navigational for us, Josh, and to go through the items. Let's say hello. Rip City Bandwagon says sports cards is a lifestyle. Talking my language, Rip City. Yes, it is. Jacob Dahl and Jeff McMahon. Good to see you, fellas. 2 Cent. What's going on? Todd McDonald. Greg Davis out of Vancouver. Good evening. Peeps is here. Laura is here. Lantern Cards, the newlywed, is here. And Sullivan's Sports Cards from North Dakota. Grand Forks, Fargo, North Dakota. As I've said before, I used to spend time there back when I lived in Winnipeg. Back in the 80s, we used to go down there and do our U.S. shopping. I was all about Starburst and Jolly Ranchers and Skittles before we could get those up in Canada, Josh. Did you ever lust for candy you couldn't get locally?
No, not really. Us in America, we have every option. Probably too many options.
Yes, you do. If you're watching on Instagram, feel free to come over to YouTube. That's where the action happens. That's where we can see your comments in the chat. And Josh, so I don't even know how many items we have. We are watching here. We got 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. So there's still 24 on the page. On page 2, let's just, something went wrong. Don't know what went wrong. Let's go back. Oh, I got nothing now. Weekly auction watching. Let's hit a little refresh here. See if that helps. All right. So now we're back to the main navigation page. We're going to go to this auction And we're going to go to hockey. Actually, let's do all for a moment. Let's go back up to, see now where's Flash? I don't know what that is. Auction, featured category. So I can't see looks like they got rid of what your favorites are and what you're bidding on. Those options are completely gone now. It looks like, Josh. Earliest year. What's that?
Even if you just select hockey, they're still gone.
Well, I can select hockey, but that's going to give us all the hockey items, 265 hockey items. But now there's no option for me to select my favorites or my bids. Remember I showed you that? And that seems to have disappeared because I brought this screen up. The screen's been up kind of waiting for a couple hours now for us to go live. And it looks like in the last couple hours, they changed something here that we can't navigate. We can't navigate to our favorites. So we'll just have to look at all 265 items, unless somebody out there is watching this and tells me that I'm missing something. Seems to be that we can't look at just our favorite. Can we even, I'm not logged in. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second, guys. Somehow I've been logged out. So let me log in. Let's see if this works.
Yeah, would it make sense to have favorites and not let you sort by them? So that clears up that mystery.
Okay. Here, hold on one second. I just want to see one thing, because I do have 2 accounts on here. One was just for, I'm in the account that doesn't let me bid right now, and I don't have the favorites. So I'm going to log out of here. I got to log in with my other login. Is it going to let me do that now? Let's see. No, it's not. It's forcing me in with this account, which I don't have my favorites on. Well, that's okay. What we'll do is we will just go through all the items then. Because there's a watching. Wait, maybe this is working. There's a watching list. Bear with us, guys. Looks like there's been some changes, as you can see, and I'm kind of figuring them out on the go. Here, I'll share my screen again. Okay, here we go. Let's go to here. 0 results. Great. Okay, so we're gonna go to all items. See, I want to log out, and you guys can watch this. When I go to log out, and then I go to log in, and I hit this, it doesn't give me an option to put in my email address. It just logs me in. So here we are. We'll go to this weekly, and we will go to hockey. And let's go to earliest year. And now there's 265 results this week, guys. That is a lot. CSI chat. We are investigating this, Laura. Oh, Bill knew. He says you're not logged into the site. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Webo2. You're right. Producer Louie in the house. Thank you for that. Okay. All that said, I can't seem to log out. And maybe, Bill, maybe you know how to log out and log in with my other email address, which I'm not able to. But in the meantime, let's just look at some cards, Josh, because there are some, and this top row has 2 that we were looking at anyway. The C56 Frank Patrick card number 1, the first hockey card really ever produced. That's what we consider this card to be. It's a PSA 2, 1910 C56, really nice centering, but it's got issues, as you can tell by the technical grade of a 2, all sorts of, the corners, some scratches in the surface, some ink blots up here above the lines. That's a registration issue, I think. You've got this thin line here. You're a little bit of paper. I feel like we've seen this card before as well. This looks pretty similar as well. And the bottom corners, overall though, for the grade, it's still a nice card. The centering's really good. The color is good. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I think this is a card we talk about a lot. Appropriate technical grade, high, what I would consider appeal. Like it just looks high eye appeal. Looks great.
For a 2. I agree.
Of course.
I agree. And then we have the 54 Tops Gordie Howe PSA 6 sitting at $1,100 right now. And this is a nice looking card. The top corners, they're not perfect. Slight rounding on the top right, and the top left, but those are almost exactly the same sort of angles, which I like. The red border is pretty good. There is some white showing. The blue border, it's got some chipping, but again, that's what you're going to see. Yeah, that one, I think it's appropriately graded as a 6. But the color, the centering is all pretty nice. It's a little bit off center to the right. I would say I assess that by how far the letters are from the edges on the bottom 2 rows here, the Gordie Howe right wing and Detroit Red Wings. But this is an iconic card. We've said it on here before. It's a Mount Rushmore of hockey cards, even though I do think that the 51 Parkhurst rookie has become more important since that Mount Rushmore was initially set by Joe Orlando back in his days with PSA. But this card, it's I have all these paintings behind me here, guys, and I have a new round being done right now, and one of them is the 51 Parkhurst Gordie Howe rookie. And my artist said to me, she said, she was worried how it was going to turn out because it's such a basic looking card. And I thought, well, maybe I should swap it over and do this one instead, because this is such a nice, colorful card, full color, full body shot of Gordie Howe, great facial features. You got the Detroit Red Wings logo. You got the red, white, and blue, which is a nice color combination, especially if you're American or friends of America, which we are here on Sports Cards Live, and our friends down below from Minnesota. So I love this card. This is an old slab right there, one of the oldest ones out there. And but it's a good looking card, and I like this particular copy myself. Josh, what did you think of it?
Yeah, again, it's same thing like the Frank Patrick. It's probably appropriate technical grade, but again, high eye appeal. And your intuition on the Patrick was right. Just to go back to that for a second, that exact card, sold in the Fanatics Weekly on July 14th for $1,020 US.
1,020, which is it's already looks like it's
Above
right
that.
around that now, right at 925 plus. What's that? Plus 190. 925 times 1.2 is 925. Yeah, 1110. And would you say 11? Would you say 1,020?
1,020, and this would be a record per card letter sales history. Would be a record for this card.
There you go. Yeah, well, it is a nice card. So it's going to sell for more than it did last time. So that's kind of cool to see. We have no idea why it's being listed for, again, maybe it wasn't paid for, or maybe the buyers just decided to sell it now. But these bookend cards are both great cards. You've really got the first hockey card of all time, and then you got Gordie Howe's first Tops card. So a couple of firsts up there. Pretty cool. Sid Abel, PSA 8 Parkhurst here in the middle at $1,000. Some commons from 54 Tops, a Terry Sawchuk 57 top. I love the 57 top set. I think these are beautiful. This was one that we were going to talk about. It's a PSA 7.5, and it's a nice looking copy. It's got great edges and corners. Centering, it's off a little bit to the left. And then the thing that's catching my eye the most are this area here. You can see there's some, I don't know if these are print dots, fish eyes, or scratches on the surface or on the slab. I'm not sure, but that certainly sticks out to me right over there. But I just love this card. And 57 Tops, you had 54 Tops, and then they took off 55 and 56. There's a gap there. So these are second year Tops cards, which is interesting to note. And it's a great set overall in terms of rookie cards. You got 3 key rookie cards in the set, and then you've got the Gordie Howe and the Terry Sawchuk, as well as some other great Hall of Famers in there. Josh, what do you think? I mean, we often talk about, and I know you often make comments on the way a player looks, how they're depicted based on, we've seen, what is it? One of the Gordie Howe cards where his shins are like wider than his thighs. What are your thoughts on how this card presents?
It's a cool looking card. You could tell that there was probably a cutout of Terry because his right arm seems a little small for the glove or the blocker there. That's kind of, his shoulders are doing something weird. Gosh, goalie poses are so strange in vintage cards and kind of back in the day. What I think about this card overall, though, is that this is like the exact opposite of to me, the Gordie Howe and the Frank Patrick, where it's a higher technical grade. But I, like you, find that right side of the card in the background to be, kind of distracting to me. It's the white on the bottom, and then even above his left shoulder there on the white side, I feel like there's whiting in that orange background more so than on the other side of the card.
Yeah.
And so I have a hard time not seeing that when I look at the card.
Yeah, there's some snow going on. I think this is a good card if you are, you want the 7.5 in your collection. You're working on the Terry Sawchuk run. You're doing the Hall of Famer registry. Maybe you're doing the 57 top set. You're getting the grade, but yeah, I don't think it's particularly strong for a 7.5 at all. CC says Fanatics is usually good, but they really need to do a better job with the user interface changes on the website. I mean, it did throw us for a loop here. Sullivan says Jeremy Lee starting next year. Bismarck will have 4 big shows put on by Sports Cave. Make sure you catch a show for Hockey Cards. I don't think I'm making it to Bismarck, unfortunately, because I just don't live in Winnipeg anymore. If I did, I'd come down for sure. But good to hear that North Dakota is getting more shows. Good day, Brett S. And Bill says, likely caching your credentials in browser. Use a different browser or incognito for the second login. Not a thanks, Bill. That's great advice right there. Louis wants to know what size are the pictures on my wall. Yeah, I'm looking at them, trying to remember. I think they're 18 by 24. No, they can't be that much. Maybe they're 12 by 18. They're not small, but they're not huge either. Louis, they're not huge either. He says, was there ever a corrected tops version, or they're all misspelled? He's talking about the Sawchuk. They are all misspelled, just like I believe on the Marc Messier from 1980. All right, let's keep rolling through here. Nothing here that I found particularly interesting. PSA 5 O-Pee-Chee, 1970 Bobby Hull, second year Guy Lafleur, 1971 Tops, Gordie Howe in a PSA 6, 72 in action, Bobby Orr in a PSA 8. That's a pretty cool card. Let's have a quick look at that one. It's a $78. I like that you got other players in the mix. Not sure who they are, but Bobby Orr on the offensive, which is, a little bit rarer back in those days for a defenseman. And Josh, if you see anything that you want to mention or talk about, just let me know as I'm scrolling by some of these. We have to do 24 cards per page only as well here, don't we? We still don't have that.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get through it, everybody. We will get through it as we look for the next card of interest. Scrolling through a bunch of kind of commons, slabbed commons, good for set registries for sure. Nothing on that page that really is too terribly interesting. And I'm looking at the cards. I can just visually recognize, as far as hockey cards go, pretty much anything that is significant. But you can also look at the price. That'll be indicative as well. 74 Tops, Guy Lafleur in a PSA 8 at $34. I do love the 74 design. There's a Sittler. So we got some Hall of Fame, mid-career type of cards here. Ken Dryden O-Pee-Chee glossy with rounded corners. I actually had this one in my favorites in my other account to look at. It's a PSA 8. And I know you don't like the facsimile autos, Josh. That's not your thing. But I think this one, look at where it is placed on the white ice background. Kind of a perfect placement, It could be a little bit up a little bit higher, perhaps, to center it. But overall, it's a bit of an oddball card. I think these were inserted like one per pack back in the 77 O-Pee-Chee set. I think that's the case, or it might have been a separate product altogether. I'm actually not too sure how these were distributed. I'm sure someone else out there does know, and be happy to hear from you if you know how they were actually distributed. Zach Swisher, you want to ask me a non-hockey question? Throw it in the chat. Happy to look at it for sure. And Rome says Fanatics hockey offerings have really declined the past couple of years. Jeremy Lee should become their Canadian rep. Not joking. Appreciate that, Rome rant. All right, some 78s. Let's go to page 4. Nothing really there. Common players for the most part. Guy Lafleur is not a common player, but that's also an all-star card. That might be his main base card that year. I don't remember if they had 2 cards that year or not, when they also had like a subset card to go along. Well, here we have some Gretzky's, so we'll definitely take a look at these. Let's open these up. The PSA 8 is at 12,000. That's pretty high for, relative to what we've seen for a PSA 8, because that's 12 plus 24. That's at 14.4 now. And this one looks really nice at first glimpse. Let's just have a look at corners and edges. Top edge is good. I don't know if that's white showing or if that's white or cardstock. I can't imagine that whiteness up there on the left corner is actually on the front surface of the card. I kind of feel like maybe it's the edge of the card, because if that was white, this doesn't grade an 8. When was this thing graded? Recently. So that has to be something playing with our eyes, because if that's truly white, then that's the grade is too high. Top right corner looks pretty good. Right edge is nice. You come down, you can start to see the blue separating from the black. We've got these print stains over here. You got more of them over here. A big gap between the black and the blue here. And you see it also right here. See that big white gap there, Josh?
Yep.
Right between the black and the blue. Oil drop is pretty nicely placed. A little bit high into the left, but overall decent. Bottom right corner. Not sure if that's what's going on with that bottom right corner. Looks to be some stock showing, and the bottom left corner is presenting like the top left. You can see due to the, because the oil drop is placed a bit to the left, and we are having a bit of some registration issues. You can sort of see a little bit of a shadow coming off, a dark shadow though, coming off the bottom of his legs here. And then you were also noticing something funky going on over here. I'm surprised this is an 8. And I'm surprised that it's getting the most we've seen in months on an 8 on Fanatics Collect. We haven't seen a card hit 14.4 on this platform, whether the weekly or the premier auction, for quite some time now. Because again, this is at 14,400 with the buyer's premium. And unless I'm missing something, I'm really surprised it's an 8. 7.5 I could see. It's also got a fisheye right here on his shoulder. I think we've seen this card too, Josh. Is that something you'd be willing to look at for us and see if you can see it? I'm curious what it sold for last time, if we did see it. The serial number ends in 0877.
Yeah, let me just stay right there for a second, because Card Ladder actually has a new feature where you can search by cert number and only pull up the sales of that card. Which
that'd be good to hear if you can find it.
I'm looking for that right now.
Go ahead. While you're looking, I'll read a comment here. Zach's non-hockey question was, could we take a look at the PSA 3 Bill Russell? How do you put a value on top 5% eye appeal? Several grade bump in value, no hard rules. I'm just curious what the premium would be. Yeah, great question, Zach. And to me, the top 5%, it can get anywhere from like, if I agree with the eye appeal, then anywhere from 1 grade better to 3 even. It just depends on the card. Now that's just me. I don't know. Probably 1 to 2 is more reasonable and more reality. But for me, I'd be like, well, it should be, this card looks like it's a 2 and it looks like a 7. So let's saw it off at 5 and call it 3. Find anything yet, Josh?
Yeah, I don't think this is recently sold on Fanatics, this particular copy. But what I do think that you've pointed out, and what I've learned from every time we've gone over one of these cards, is that when it comes to grading, and primarily PSA, because that's one we've been looking at, that they tend to grade this card more classically, right? Corners, edges, surface, and centering. And registration is really important on this card. And it feels like that often that it might not have been factored into the grade almost. And so I think that to me, the takeaway and what I've learned is when I'm looking for a PSA Gretzky or Gretzky card in a PSA holder, I can't obviously just buy the number, but I have to look at the registration and feel that the registration is congruent with the grade itself too. 'Cause I just don't trust that PSA catches it.
Yeah, fair. I think you're right, and the registration is certainly an issue here, but there's other things there's other flaws going on with this card, like the print, like these black ink stains over here. You see it over here as well. The large, relatively large gap between the blue and the blacks, and then the corners just don't appear to be 8 worthy to me. So.
Isn't the logo really off-centered in the bottom too? Not just the teardrop, but is it typically that?
This is severely, like what Josh is talking about right now is this, like, look at the Oiler logo. So the blue circle and how it fits in the first black circle. And it's sitting down at like, 4:30 here on a clock, it's not right in the middle. It's down and to the right. And it's all got to do with registration. So anyway, that's that one. It's a PSA 8. It's a 12,000. Here's a PSA 6. This one has some severe registration issues. It's off-centered, but like look up over here. Look at how off. I feel bad picking on these cards right now, guys, but I mean, look at how the black. I wish the people in O-Pee-Chee, like, the printing department, the supervisors, I wish they could hear us talking, because look at how poorly registered this card is. Look at this thick blue line gap between the black and the white. Like, that black should be off to the right. You have white peeking out over here. The yellow and the magenta plates are certainly offset from each other. You can see the yellow shadowing the reddish over here. So there's that. And then look over. Look at this over here. Look at this white border. See my mouse here? It comes across the red. I'm moving it across the top, and then I'm going to curve or come around the corner and come down. Well, this should be white, but look at this bluish aqua colored strip coming into the white, and it comes down to here because that's the crowd in the picture. This should be all white in here, but the white is over here on the other side. And then you got blue. Like, this thing's a mess. It's just a mess as far as the printing quality goes. But let's zoom out and look at the centering. Centering, it's off center to the left and it's high. But corners and edges. I mean, if you put these corners and edges on that PSA 8, you got an 8 all of a sudden, in my mind.
Yeah.
Right? So the corners and edges are really nice here. The centering's good. It's certainly not great. Whereas on the 8, the corners and edges aren't where I'd like them to be. The centering's good, but it's got the registration and some surface issues. So I don't know. Not a huge fan of either of them tonight, but that's okay. There's a Gretzky rookie out there for everybody, and these ones will make some people happy. Here's a Topps PSA 6, and this looks pretty good. The two issues with this card are the centering and the bottom right corner. But otherwise, I mean, this thing is sharp. This thing is totally sharp. Look at that top edge, and the left and the right edges are very strong. Corners, everything, all the corners and edges that I can see on this card are basically perfect, except for the lower right corner, which you can see has a bit of a ding going on. But otherwise, this is a beautiful, great color, great copy overall. I'm not sure what this is here. That just might be in the crowd. It's a great copy, except for the centering. Even that bottom right corner isn't too bad. So, I like that one, Josh. Any thoughts on those two? And then I do want to, for Zach, we'll go look at that Bill Russell for you after these. But let's get Josh's thoughts first on these second 2 Gretzkys here, the 6 and the 6, the Topps and the O-Pee-Chee.
The O-Pee-Chee is a total mess. And, that's one of probably the worst registration I think I've seen on a Gretzky rookie. And so if that's not your thing, then probably a pass. On the Topps one, I actually really like this card because remember, this is the off-centering that works for me because of sort of how I balance the card versus but I understand how off it is from a technical grade perspective, but I don't mind the eye appeal of this card. It's my favorite of the 3.
Mine too. Mine too. Good evening, Professor. Welcome to the show. All right, let's here's what I want to do for a moment. We're just gonna open up another tab here and let's go find the Bill Russell, because it's a card I love as well. And let's help Zach Swisher out here. We'll go to basketball and we will even sort by earliest year. I could search Bill Russell, but which Bill Russell did you say it? Is it 50? There's no 57. The PSA 3 Bill Russell. What Bill Russell are you referring? Am I in the wrong week? Oh, I'm in the wrong week. Never mind. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Let's have a look at this. Okay. Yeah. So Zach, I looked at this card myself. This is amazing because I own a PSA 6 and I thought, maybe I should, upgrade by downgrading, get a lower grade card that's super strong and have that money left over to do something else with another card. And so centering is so tough on this card. And this card has amazing centering, almost perfect. So the centering is great. The color is good, but you do have some pretty, big fish eyes. You got a green one right there, another green one right there, a blue one up over there, some staining up here on the border. Top left corner is missing some of the surface gloss, as is the top left corner. Sorry that I said those backwards, but they still apply. Bottom corners are really nice, slight rounding, but you zoom out on this card, it's a beautiful copy. This is I agree with the eye appeal. Top 5% on this. Let me say that first of all. And this card looks better than several 6s that I've seen, Zach. So to me, this is an amazing, amazing copy. And, so amazing that I didn't think about it that much, but I thought about maybe it's a card that I would want to acquire for myself. No joke. I'm not BSing you here. I mean it. Let's have a look at the back. It's got a few printing stainish issues, but they're minor. I don't mind them at all. I'm just talking about like in here, you got some stray black and over here, but that doesn't bother me. And it's on the back. I love the copy. So now, right now, as you mentioned, Zach, it's at $6,000, which is $7,800 out the door, $7,200 out the door. I don't know the comps on it, Zach Swisher, but to me, I'd be willing to pay at least 4 value for this and maybe even, 5 because it's that nice. So I hope that helps. Josh, I mean, I know it's not you're a hockey guy, but what do you think of about that Bill Russell? Is it a card you've ever given attention to before?
No, but I appreciate Bill Russell though. And it's an amazing, I just don't know a lot about the card. So like, is $6,000 considered high for a PSA 3 or?
Well, let's go to Card Ladder. Let's go into Card Ladder and see what Card Ladder says. We're going to take a bit of a break here from hockey for a second, guys. And let's just see what my last search is Ziggy Palfy. Let's check Bill Russell, 1957 tops, and let's just do PSA 3. Need a space there. So here we go. We had one sell. Okay, last month. Here's a PSA 3 that sold last month. And it went for, what do we see? $3,300. But look at the centering on this thing. It's completely off centered. So centering is huge for this card. So finding a centered copy, you're going to pay, well, as we can see already, double to triple what you're paying for an off-centered copy. This is got great color, but the corners are the same as what we saw, but the centering, I think this is not as that other card is in much better condition for a 3. Back in January this year, we had this one sell for $34.75, but look at it. This thing's a mess. Like it's way off centered. It's like a corner fold up there, major corner damage up there. I mean, it's not even close. That's just an ugly copy. What about this one for $4,000? Oh, it's the same card, I think. Is that the same card sold twice? Yeah, it's the same card. What else do we have here for a 3? Like, look at that. It's got the centering, but look at how faded it is. And it did $4,000. So I mean, there's definitely a premium being paid for this 3, but I think it's worth it. You know, if you can get yourself past the grade, this is super strong, super strong. Okay, we're going to close all those windows and go back to the hockey stuff. We went through the Gretzky. So, Zach, I hope that was a further assistance to you. We did the Gretzky's. We have a Rod Langway, PSA 2, PSA 9, O-Pee-Chee Mark Messier rookie card. Let's take a look at the Messier and let's see how this looks for a 9. So it's got really great color, great corners, great edges. The problem is centering. It's just off to the right. Top to bottom is really good, though. Top to bottom centering, close to perfect, but left to right, it's not quite perfect. It's probably just on the cusp of being PSA 10 grading or centering, like 60-40. Probably just a hair under that. Otherwise, it might be even higher graded unless there are other things wrong with it. And a PSA 7 Raymond Bourque O-Pee-Chee rookie looks pretty good. Just, you know, a little bit of off-center to the right. There must be other things going on with it. It's harder to judge the corners on these cards with white borders because it's harder to see a discoloration or another color coming through. But this is a nice looking copy for a 7, actually. A really nice copy for a 7, I would say, based on a 2-dimensional analysis. Josh, what were your thoughts on the Messier and the Bourque?
Messier, very nice card. I totally agree with you on the Bourque. It's like 7. Wow.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not higher graded, like an 8 even. Here's another 8. Is this so 2? Oh, that was a 9. Now we have a Messier 8. We have a Ray Bourque tops and a 6. But here's the O-Pee-Chee 8 Messier, and like it's got the rough cut, but I like it. Edges and corners are really strong. I don't know what's wrong with this to give it an 8. There's probably something there, but the centering is it's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's very good. This is a really nice 8. A really nice 8. I'm really liking these 2, I'll call them mid-grade Bourque and Messier's mid-grade because, for these kind of cards, low grade to me is a 5 or a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mid, 9, 10 high, perhaps, potentially something like that. Let's go to page 5. So we have a Topps PSA 8 Yzerman rookie, a Chelios O-Pee-Chee PSA 9. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. Open this. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I mean, listen, this card is it's got that tilt, right? The counterclockwise tilt, the top, the on the left side, the top of the border, it widens as you come down and it widens as you go up on the right. That's pretty pronounced on this copy. I don't know how that gets a 9 because of that. It's graded quite some time ago, but I'm a fan of the Chelios rookie, and I'm going to be sitting down with him at the Expo coming up next weekend, so that's cool. Couple of Lemieux, 3 Lemieux here, right down the middle. Rookie year cards. We've got the O-Pee-Chee in a 9, which is a great grade with above average eye appeal. We have the Topps in a 5. We'll take a look at that. And we have the box bottom O-Pee-Chee in an authentic slab. So let's take a look at these. Here's the O-Pee-Chee PSA 9, and it looks like a fine 9 to me. The centering might be a little bit low, but side to side looks to be bang on. It looks to be nice and square. Actually, a really nice copy. Registration wise, I've learned to go to the Penguin and have a look at the beak and the gloves. There's a small registration issue. You can see a bit of yellow coming into the glove here, but nothing too crazy about that, in my opinion. I think it's a really nice copy, Josh. And then
me too.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, I was going to say, me too. Very, very high eye appeal. Like maybe a little bit off top to bottom centering, but nice copy.
Agreed. PSA 5 Topps copy looks, well, I can see now I look closer. Top corners are definitely not perfect and a bit of an edge issue right there. These are corners and edges that have brought this card down to the 5 level, which makes a lot of sense. I'm sure that grade is really correct. And then an authentic O-Pee-Chee box bottom. This is really nice, you've got a bit of the black line showing there, which is good, and it does come down the edge. But it looks like the shape is like it's a nice rectangular shaped cut, and might have some surface scratches, throughout because this thing sat on a counter, most likely. But I don't know why it's not graded with a numerical grade on this one, Josh, because you do see evidence that it was, the box bottom.
Yep.
So maybe that's just how they submitted it. And, that's fine too. I think it's a really strong copy actually for what it is. I like it.
Me too. Yep.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Continuing along, there's the Gretzky box bottom and a PSA 2. I'm curious why it's a 2. Let's open it up and see if we can figure it out. So you're seeing the black border along the top, but it's got surface scratches, which, is cool. That kids pulled packs out of this box and bought them. I mean, that's just kind of neat. This card has a story, but it's a 2 for whatever reasons. We have a Al MacInnis BGS 8 O-Pee-Chee rookie card. I ran into Al MacInnis at the Keg Steakhouse after the Expo last time, and he was super cool. Oh, Josh, it was the night before you interviewed him on the stage at Expo. I was chatting with him at the Keg. I was sitting there with like five or six guys, and he's sitting at the table next to us, like the high tops in the lounge. And I see him there, and he's by himself looking at the TVs across the bar. And I waited until he wasn't eating and he was kind of just sitting there chilling out. And I went up and I started talking to him. And he's like, "Oh, have a seat." I sat down with him for about 20 minutes and talked to him. The nicest guy.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And I said to him, I go, it's kind of funny. You're going to be sitting on stage and my buddy Josh is going to be interviewing you tomorrow. And it could have been me, but I'm doing Team Musolani. You're going to be with Josh. And then when you were interviewing the next day, I came over and I just I came up on the stage after I said hello, and he goes, "Oh, hey, Jeremy." And I thought, the guy remembered my name. Like that just tells awesome. You what a great guy he is. So big fan of Al MacInnis now. Of course, he remembered my name. Why wouldn't I be a fan of him? Great looking copy. Centering, I think, is the only real issue here that I can tell, because this is a nice square card, no tilt, good corners and edges. Surface is clean. The color is bold. Nice card. Nice card for a BGS 8. And I don't think it's sheet cut, because if you're sheet cutting this card, you're probably going to do a better job on the centering.
I hope. Yeah.
Second year Lemieux box bottom, PSA 2.5 O-Pee-Chee. Gretzky box bottom, PSA authentic from the same year, Lemieux second year. The more I see these box bottoms on Fanatics, Josh, the more I want to put them in my collection. Like ones I have some, but ones I don't have, like the 86. Like to get the Gretzky and the Lemieux would be just amazing. Third year Mario Lemieux, 87 O-Pee-Chee, right here in a PSA 9. We talk about rookie cards all the time. We sometimes talk about second year cards. We almost never talk about third year cards unless we're talking about the card, but we don't even mention that it's a third year. But back in the day, the Lemieux third year card here was a popular card. I'm a fan of the card. This is a PSA 9, recently graded. What are your thoughts on this card? And, I know third year cards don't have any significance really in the hobby unless you're doing a player run. And Lemieux's a guy that more people are doing player runs of him than many other players. What are your thoughts on this card, Josh?
It's a really cool card. The one thing I wish about these is that I don't know if you've had this thought. Are the borders too thick on these?
Yeah, I think I've felt that way in the past as well, but I've never said it. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Other than that, I really like the card. And you're right. If you're a Mario Lemieux collector, I love playing days cards, and a card like this is something one I would love to have.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not an expensive card, No. This is a PSA 9. It's at $44 right now out the door if you want. I don't know if you can get it graded for that. I guess you probably could, but it's a cool card. But yeah, the borders on the 87 O-Pee-Chees are a little bit, they could be thinner. We could have had more image on those cards. And if you want, you have your option at a CGC 8.5 as well. But this one does look to be worsely centered than the the PSA slab version over here. Brett Hull, O-Pee-Chee rookie, PSA 8. You have an autographed Yari Curry. This is an IP auto in a 3 on the card, and it looks like, is that say an 8 or a 6 on the auto? It's a 6 on the autograph.
Oh,
Yeah, just a real poor marker choice, or an untested marker right there. Yeah. Okay. But then we have the Sports Illustrated. There's a few oddball Gretzkys in the auction this week, and I always like looking at the oddball Gretzkys. This is a PSA 4 SI for kids, 1989, I believe his first one. And I think it's a great card. It's grading a 4. It doesn't look that weak to me, but I'm sure if you zoom in, you'll find issues with it. And I'm not exactly sure what those issues are. Maybe the top right corner maybe it's got a series of light bends in it or something there. Maybe that's the problem, but still. And then the other issue is the PSA slab is just not built for this card. So the card kind of looks like it's swimming in there, which I'm not a huge fan of, but cool card overall. What else we got here? Nothing too significant. This one here, this Fax Packs World of Sport Gretzky. I don't think I've ever seen this before. And I wonder, Josh, what does the back look like? Is it in another language, or what is this? Well, it seems to be in English, printed in the UK. That doesn't mean much. I mean, I don't know what that means. Maybe it's a UK magazine. Not familiar with this piece at all. Definitely an oddball. It's a PSA 10. Do we have any information on population? Josh, would you mind checking the pop on this thing?
Yep, doing it right now.
An oddball like this is kind of cool. Like, I think, and this is a really cool image of him. You got the Stanley Cup patch right here when the Kings lost. So this is probably from the Stanley Cup finals here in 93 against Montreal. Maybe it's from that year of the playoffs, or maybe it is from the Stanley Cup finals. I don't know if they wore this patch in the final round or in all rounds of the Stanley Cup playoffs that year. But if this image is from that last series, and this is an oddball card, and once Josh tells us the population,
37.
And how total subs?
65.
65. That's even more than I thought for a card I've never seen before. That's neat. It's an oddball. What's it sitting at price-wise? $31. I don't know, Josh. Yeah. I mean, for an oddball Gretzky with a pop of 30-something in PSA 10, that seems pretty cheap to me.
Yeah, it's about what so last sale was 40 in February. All-time high, I think, is 75. If you go back to May 2021.
I wonder if people know what this is, because I mean, I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. Fax Packs, don't know what that is. No one in the chat has said anything that might know. If you know, let us know. Be curious. Minot Rayom, 94 Classic autograph out of 2,280. When these athletes were signing in the thousands back in the 90s, I wonder if, they got cramps in their hand and that hurt any of their games afterwards, because that's a lot of signing. And then we were going to look at this one anyway. 1995 Select Certified Gold Team, Joe Sakic. It's a PSA 7. Now, the reason why I want to look at this card is not necessarily because it's a PSA 7 Joe Sakic, but because these cards are just beautiful. I have the Wayne Gretzky in my collection, and these cards to me this image doesn't do it much justice. It looks kind of dark, but they are bright gold and a beautiful foil finish on these. I don't know if it's Dufex or what it is, but just absolutely beautiful. And the other feature of these Select Certified Gold teams are the backs of the cards. The backs are often as nicer than the fronts. Look at this, is the back of the card, you guys. It's like a whole card again of a different, I believe it's a totally different picture. It's as gold as the front is. If you've never held one of these in hand, I'd recommend doing so. Even the writing on the back is like gold on gold. They're just awesome. Absolutely. And they're one of those cards that are just prime for a popularity surge because of how nice they are. But the value, the price just isn't there yet. Now, this PSA 7 Joe Sakic at $42 out the door, that's a respectable price for this card, I would think. I don't know what this card sells for raw, but to me, I recommend everybody, just look at these cards. They're beautiful. They're just beautiful. Josh, have you held one in hand? Do you know?
No,
what
I
I'm
want to
getting
see
at
one
here?
now.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the expo if I'd run into one this week.
You will. You're not going to see tons of them there, but you will see one or two. I'm not sure what player you'll find. It's not a huge checklist either,
Yeah.
but you'll see one. I wish I had my Gretzky within arm's reach. I don't have it in this room with me. Otherwise, I would pull it out and show you how cool it is on camera. Maybe I'll do a quick reel on Instagram later or tomorrow and do it that way, because they're beautiful, just beautiful cards. Okay, some more 90s. We have a couple Gretzky's on the bookends here. A Patrick Waugh certified mirror gold in the middle. Nothing much more than $10 in at the end of that page. Lethal Weapon, Mario Lemieux, but not the superpower, not the fancier superpower parallel. Black Diamond Gold, Wayne Gretzky, PSA 9. Now, where'd this go? Here it is. Let's close these other. Now, is this out of 100 on the back? I know that there are lots of black diamonds that are. I think that we would have said it in the description. No serial number on this. I'm not sure what it's out of, but it's a black diamond gold from 1996, which I believe was the first year of black diamond. This is the Joe Thornton, Patrick Marleau rookie year. And this is, so, those are the key rookies from the set, but then you got the Gretzky, and this is the gold. And it's rare. You don't see many. I'm guessing that there were like 100 of these produced, because that would be consistent with what you've seen, what we saw later on. But an amazing card. And the price, like I said, it's at $700, $840 out the door. Only 2 graded higher in PSA 10s. So far, my favorite card in the auction. I mean, by aesthetics, my favorite card in the auction is that Joe Sakic, but my overall favorite card in the auction so far is this modern wise, especially, is this Wayne Gretzky Black Diamond Gold. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, it's a cool card. I don't know a lot about the 96 Black Diamond set. Probably should learn more about it. What does the serial number end with on this one?
This one ends in 6622.
Okay. A different copy, all-time high on this is $1,710 US dollars. It was for a PSA 9 in December of 2023 in Fanatics Weekly.
Wow. So, and I wonder when that was that in the peak of the hobby?
Coming out of it, December 2023.
Yeah, coming out of it. That's just under a year ago. So there could be room to go on this one right here tonight.
Yeah. Well, and actually this one sold in September in the Fanatics Weekly for $1,260.
This exact copy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being relisted for whatever reason, we'll see what it does. So 1,700 down to 1,200 to whatever we do tonight or so.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, we'll see. A nice dual jersey here of Yzerman and Luc Robitaille, SGC 8, cards numbered out of 99. Not an expensive card, but a nice piece. You can pick it up for around $20. Couple of autos from Legendary Signatures. Some low-end rookies of Ovechkin and Crosby, upper deck class, rookie class. But then you've got an Ovechkin Black Diamond rookie, PSA 10. And this is one I'm also curious on the population of this one, Josh, if you don't mind.
Yep.
The Black Diamond rookies of Crosby and Ovechkin, when they came out, were the hottest things going. I was chasing. I finally pulled one of each of them, and I love the card. It's not the best looking card out there, but there's still that nostalgia for me. I was breaking a lot of product back then. As Anthony points out, he scored another goal today. Goal today. So he's on a bit of a run right now. And if he keeps up the pace, he's going to break the record this season. I'm still skeptical that'll happen, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Yep. So we'll see. Love the card, Josh. We're able to find the pop.
Yep, 51 out of 260.
I mean, that's so low for what is one of his main rookie cards. Now it's not the SP Authentic, the Cup, or the Young Guns, but it's one of his. It's like a secondary lower end rookie card of his, and not even the lowest end. This is, Black Diamond isn't the lowest end product. It's not MVP, O-Pee-Chee, or rookie class. So what do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I love this card. It's a favorite of mine. And to add on to what you're saying, you can get one of these for about half of what his Young Guns cost. PSA 10. And that's like pop 1,100 something.
Yeah, for 4% of the population, right? I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. It's ridiculous, the value. I don't know if cards like this are undervalued or Young Guns are overvalued. I think these are undervalued personally, but it's like some people just don't know that they exist. 2 Cent says 1997 was the first year of Black Diamond. How is that possible when this is a 1996 Black Diamond? 2 Cent. How is that possible? Were these the 96? I mean, was it a box topper pack or something like that? Was it not its own standalone product? Maybe that's what it was, but definitely 96 has Black Diamond as well. 2 Cent. Check your facts, because I wonder if I'm missing something on that. I don't think I am, but we'll see what you come up with. Speaking of Ovechkin, here's his Ultimate Collection rookie card, PSA 8, which means you're going to get it for a good price right here. And let's see why it's an 8, if we can. And where we're going to look is the edges, because these 05 Ultimate cards, the edges were in the middle of the card where the color are is where you see scratches. I see no flaws whatsoever down the left side, nor do I see them down the right side. Top edge looks good. Corners look really good. I'm seeing no edge or corner scraping. Nothing like that. Nothing there. Something right there. I don't know what that little blemish is, if that's on the card or not. Maybe a fisheye of sorts. Autograph looks good. Really good. I don't know why this is only an 8. But that's why I said, this is an opportunity to buy a great card for a great price, because it's maybe undergraded. Now, I say maybe with lots of emphasis on maybe, because again, I'm only looking at the front and we're only in 2 dimensions. Josh, and the other, it's 229 of 299. You only have 2 different digits when you have 6 possibilities. Well, maybe 5, because they're all at a 299. But Josh, what are your thoughts on the Ovechkin?
Oh, love this. The auto's great too. So I think that's another plus for this card. Yeah, I mean, what does he have? 7 goals now on the season? Is that what he's up to? So it'll be interesting.
Now, yeah, he's getting up there. He's getting up there, like 3 in the last 2 games. That's for sure. I'm going to go to the game summary here. He had his 7th tonight in like 11 games or 12 games. It's not too bad. Not too bad for good old Ovi right there. Beautiful card. Patrick Marleau, second-year cup honorable numbers out of 12 and a PSA 8 at $105. Patrick Marleau's one of these guys who, he's like the all-time, isn't he the all-time games played, or is he Iron Man or games played or something like that? He's got
something like that.
Huge longevity with Patrick Marleau. And he doesn't get much love in our hobby. He's an Olympian. He's done great things, had a great career, but no cup. And in any event, a nice card and cheap at $105.
He holds the most NHL regular season games played, 1,779.
Marleau?
Yeah.
Most games played in NHL history is this guy right over here. And honorable numbers being out of 12. It's a nice low number. Nice low number right there. All right. Some kind of inconsequential cards here that have sold. Here's this sold for $10,200. A rookie year signature patch, Connor McDavid. Marquee Prism Hellebuck sold for $108. So we've got some sales coming in now already. Let's see what happens on page 7. What's still alive? These have all been sold. $240 here on a 2015 Young Gun exclusive McDavid Bennett checklist. So this is like a Young Guns checklist out of 100. A lot of people chase these when it has a player like McDavid on. This is 2015 Upper Deck card number 250. I think that puts it in Series 1.
Yep.
And it's It's out of 100. Like, this is actually really cheap right now, in my opinion, at 240. Now, I don't know comps on this at all. My gut tells me that this is really cheap, Josh, for a rookie year McDavid exclusives out of 100 from Flagship. Now it's BGS
Yeah, I'm looking
9.
it up quick. I just don't think that they get any sort of value.
And maybe $288 here is the most they get. But if this was a PSA 10, I think you're coming up on you got to be over $1,000.
So the last sale was BGS 9 sold for $260. Then before that, in SGC, that was the canvas, and then 233, 200. So I mean, it's going to set a record, actually, Jeremy.
Yeah. Okay. For the grade, I wonder what a PSA 10 has sold for. Did you see any of those in the historical
I only
sales?
see 5 total sales on Card Ladder, and one of them's the canvas. So 4 of that.
Okay. Jambalaya, Connor McDavid 2020 achievement at 145. That's those are the repercussions of too many different versions of Jambalayas.
Yep.
Some pretty low-end cards there. Let's have a look at page 8. We'll get to comments in just a moment here, everybody. $36 on a Clayton Keller, PMG out of 100. A bunch of low-end stuff here. Connor Bedard, CHL blue rookie at $82.
Wait. Can you go back to that one? Is that the Regina Pats?
Yeah.
Let me look that one up.
Upper Deck CHL Regina Pats.
Upper Deck. Hold on.
Laura made the comment here. This episode is like that holiday dinner where these extra cards are like the unexpected family members that show up. Yeah, well, I'll look at a Bill Russell rookie, Laura. I love that card. But I think that was fun, right? It was fun. We don't have to stick completely to the program here. LGC said that the Messier PSA 8 with a newer cert should be given an eye appeal sticker. In my opinion, newer certs are a way to find value. Yeah, I'm with you, Eld. I think you nailed it right there. Yeah, Doghouse, good evening. Bit late, Yeah, what's the score in that? Last I looked, it was 2-0 for the Oilers. Oh, 3-2. My Flames. Oh, is it over? Nope. 3 minutes left in the third. We had a couple. Oh, the Flames even managed to tie it up. No worries, 2 cent. No worries. Larry says, talking up the Sakic Gold team drove it up too rich for me on this copy. Did we actually drive that price up a little bit? I was already high when we went. Josh, what'd you find on the Regina Pats Bedard?
So that's the blue parallel, the base. And because I was just thought this would be the case. PSA 10 in July of 23. So what's that? About a year and a half ago. Sold for $1,300.
Whoa. So
we knew this at the time, right? And it's like that these would never hold value. So there's a lot of people holding the bag with Bedard's pre-NHL cards.
Which does mean that right now is a great time to buy this card because you're getting it. Like, I don't know how much more it can come down, but I'm not saying it can't. There's always that chance, but you never.
Wait, is there a Shane Pinto Young Guns up there, Jeremy?
If there is, I went right
there.
Yeah, right here.
Do you know how many Phil?
Yeah, doesn't he have like 1,000 of them or something? Like
there's 400.
400 of them. Rare card right there.
Rare card.
Kent Johnson Young Gun PSA 9 worth $10. A Bedard. So the Bedard PSA 10s are now doing $750 on this one. $750 on this one. So those are Bedard PSA 10, $780 over here. So they've come down in value. And what's this one? A raw copy is still sitting at $180. Page 9. Stanley Cup sold for $132. Made our thumbnail. I played around with that today. $312 on this Crosby auto. Dustin Wolf auto patch, $54. $216 on a raw Bedard. It's crazy that the PSA 10s are down to $750 now, huh?
Well, I'm just looking at the raw. And I'm looking at the current box prices. So if a raw Bedard Young Guns sells for about $180, and they're in 1 and 8 and 8 and a third boxes on average. If you go by the pack odds, like on David Adams, a box of Series 2 is still $260. So you hit a Bedard and you don't even come close to covering the box.
Well, unless you get something else in there, but
yeah, it's got to be.
And that the way you just said that, I always find that so interesting. Because and not the way you say it, everyone says it like that. You hit this big card, you don't even cover the price of a box. We hear that said about across different podcasts and YouTubers across all sports and products. And then I think to myself, well, that implies that everyone who's opening these things is selling them right away. So like, you're not covering the price, but like, don't we as a hobby understand that the prices of cards are fluctuating constantly? And if you're going to open a product, you have to know that you can't expect to get your value out of it. Now you might get it when you open the box, but if you hold those cards now for a year, you don't have that value anymore. You had it at the time, but you never realized it. So there's a few issues that I have with that approach to it. Now, listen, I'm not picking on you at all for saying that at all, because it's so common and a lot of people, most people, I don't say most, I don't know for sure, but many people look at the hobby that way when they're opening product. And that's why I like buying singles so much, because I can pay what I feel is fair and I don't need to worry about, do I hit the big card? And even if I hit it, do I make my money back? Well, if you're going to only open cards to make your money back, you're not a collector. You're something else. You're a breaker and seller, so in that case, I don't really feel bad for people that aren't getting their value out of a box, even if they hit the big card, because there are other cards in there and there are other non-monetary benefits to collecting, like the enjoyment factor. Like I go to a movie, sure. I get nothing. I'm out that $20, zero return on investment except for 90 minutes of enjoyment.
No, I totally understand what you're saying. To me, though, I think the answer is somewhere in between those two, because when you buy a single, you don't routinely pay $1,000 for a $500 single, do you?
No.
Yeah, and so to me, it's like even if you're not going to sell the box or the cards in the box, I think it's more of a, do you feel good about the value in what you're getting when you open the box, right? And so it's like, even Series 2 is great. I think it's a great product, and it's a really fun rip. But at $260, are you going to feel like you even had a chance to get that much value out of the box? And it's overwhelmingly no.
Yeah. No, let's say I completely get everything you said there. Makes complete sense to me. And you want to get value for your purchases, whether it's, the ticket to the movie or that new pair of jeans or shirt you need to wear, or your sports cards. You do, but
there's truth to what you're saying too, though, and I understand that as well. I can't imagine. Well, let me ask you this question: so if it's $260 now, let's say tonight the Gold Outburst surfaces on Instagram or something like that, how much does that box go down as a result of that?
I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what, if I'm going to buy a box of that, it's not because I think I'm going to hit the Gold Outburst. So you know what I mean? Like, that's not why I'm going to go buy a box. I'm going to hope for it, but I'm not going to expect to. I think the odds are too thin for me to have that expectation. So, but you're right. You make a great point, because that's the way the hobby looks at things now, with all especially with the movement towards breaking, right? I mean, breakers are selling product based on what could come out of there, like a Gold Outburst. Is this the box? It has the Gold Outburst, right? So that once that's gone, they can't say that anymore. They're not going to get as much money for it. So I think you're 100% right. I think there will be an impact on the value of those unopened boxes. But what is that? What did you say? 280 or 260?
Well, I think I have an answer, and I think that inadvertently Upper Deck kind of gave the answer when they put Series 2 on EPAC. It was $280 US. I'm talking about at most like places. and it debuted on ePack at $230. Now, the only difference between ePack and Hobby for Series 2 is we know that the Bedard Gold Outburst isn't an ePack. So it kind of tells you that basically, if you're buying a box of Series 2, you're buying a $50 lottery ticket in every box to try to hit that one card.
Yeah. So what's your answer? What do you think? What are they at now? 280 or 260?
I think it goes down to like 190, 180, something like that.
So it comes down about 50% or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's or 33%, I guess, is on the way down. So interesting. Let's do some comments here quick. Perry, good evening to you. Dylan Rantucci says Ultimate is such an underappreciated set. I agree. Dave Kaplan is cheering for that Wayne Gretzky at $15,000. Richie Rocket, will see you at the expo for sure. He agrees. With Dylan. 0506 Ultimate rookie card auto, so underrated. I still like it better aesthetically compared to Future Watch auto, even though the Future Watch sells for more, which doesn't really make much sense because Future Watch is out of 1,000 and this is out of 300, minus one on each of those. Actually, I think the 0506 Ultimate design is one of the best of all times. Yeah, I mean, it's an absolutely beautiful card. I'm with you. I love that design. Dylan says Ultimate rookie autos are 10 times harder to hit and way less valued. Right. It just doesn't make sense that way. David G sold the Frank Patrick card number 1 today. Congratulations on your sale. What did that end up selling for? $1,230. So what's that, about $10.10 before buyer's premium? Congrats, David G.
Yep.
Larry's Classic did win the Keller PMG in 12 of the 1978 Topps cards, the year he started opening up wax packs. That's beautiful. Congrats, Larry. Josh Giddy says, Jeremy, do you know when the Bedard Superfractor will show up? I have a bounty on it. Yeah, that's February 3rd of next year, Josh Giddy. February 3rd next year. You're talking about the Superfractor. I think you mean the Golden Treasure 101 from Platinum. I'm guessing there are no Superfractors in hockey. I think you're meaning the Golden Treasure 1 of 1. The Card Hunter, cheers to you. Sure looks like Ziggy. Cheers to you, Ziggy. Peeps landed the 85 Gretzky box bottom. Congrats. And my Flames lose 4-2 to the Oilers. Doghouse lets me know. You know, it's funny. It's a weird thing I'm going through with my being a fan of the Flames right now this season, because they started out like 5-0 and I was really happy. I love seeing them win, but I also don't mind seeing them lose because I don't think they're a contender this year and I want to get a good draft pick. So, but it's hard not to cheer for them to win.
Yeah.
You know, like I want them to win, but I also want a good draft pick. So I'm not really. It's an interesting. I have a private text group with some of my Flame fan buddies here in Calgary, and we're all kind of going through this weird time where we don't know how to approach them as fans because we're conflicted. So,
hey, Jeremy, there's a card. When we were down in the more modern stuff just a second ago, that I really wanted to highlight. It's a Luke Hughes Allure Gold Glitter Bomb.
Let me search for that let me see, because I've resorted now by highest price.
Oh.
But that's fine. Let's just resort by latest year. Tell me when you see it. It's got to be coming up here, no?
Yeah, it's a 2023. A lot of 2023s, geez.
Yeah. Lots of that. Lots of 2023s in the auction tonight. The Luke Hughes glitter. Wow, look at all these 2023s.
Gold glitter bomb, yeah. Right there, I think.
Here? No.
Well, there's actually an Adam Fantilli, so that'll work too.
Okay.
I actually think that, when you talk about trying to get ahead of the game a little bit, that, what cards could be seen in a different light down the road. This is one of my favorites, the Gold Glitter Bomb out of Allure. It's got the gold kind of brand name to it. It's only the third year of the Gold Glitter Bomb, or maybe the second year. I don't remember. And it's out of $199. So if you're looking for, if you don't have the big money to be buying the $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 rookies, but you're looking for a really cool looking, nice card that nobody has a crystal ball, of course, and can predict the future. But this is one that I feel good about as having long-term potential. And even people like Karn, Rye from Slab Sharks has said on our show that, that Allure could be what OPC Platinum was maybe in 2015, 2016 when nobody cared about it. Like down the road.
Yeah. A couple comments on that. First of all, beautiful card. I wasn't familiar with this card. I think it's really nice. I like the different color. I like the gold glitter bomb. It actually looks like a glitter bomb went off behind the player. I think it's a pretty card. I like what you said about it being out of 199. If you don't have the big bucks and you're not buying the OPC Platinum Gold size mix out of 50, these could be a nice alternative to those. The comment about could it be the next OPC Platinum? I think it would be like, or something like that, maybe, but not to the level of what OPC Platinum has achieved, in my opinion, because there already is the OPC Platinum out there. If there wasn't, then perhaps Allure could have been that. So maybe it's going to be like I'll say this loosely, the poor man's OPC Platinum, the everyday man's
cousin of it. Yeah. I mean, they're both they're Upper Deck's chromium finish cards. And I look at this one a lot like, and again, I'm not even trying to make a direct comparison, but I look at the same way like I look at the OPC Platinum Red Prism, which we have the Connor Hellebuck today, which is out of 199. Again, like really good cards that have respect in the hobby that are just not tons and tons of money. So
yeah,
that's just there's the Luke Hughes right there.
$31, $31. I mean, not bad. He's a defenseman. This is basically a raw card. It is simply authenticated by CGC, but it's a beauty. These are nice. They're nice. And the 199 is nice. It's not, it might not necessarily draw me in as much as it could if it was out of less than 199, but I think you make a great point. I think it's a good option for some people for sure. It's a beautiful card. Okay, let's go back to highest price and let's see what we have sold. Oh, why is it doing that to me? Highest price, and it brings us to this. That doesn't make sense, does it? What did I do wrong here? Lowest price, highest price. There we go. So the Gretzky PSA 8 does $15,000. The McDavid rookie year signature patch does $10,200 in a BGS 9.5 holder. That's a nice strong sale. The PSA 9 Lemieux rookie does $2,220. These have really come down over the last little while, and it's got top 30% eye appeal as well. I think that's a good price. The PSA 6 Gretzky does $2,160, almost $2,000 for the Ovechkin PSA 10 Black Diamond rookie, while the Ultimate PSA 8 does less at $1,620. Like, there's no comparison here. This is backwards, you guys. This card here out of $299 with the autograph, beautiful, should outsell this all day long. By leaps and bounds as well, I think. But this is a pop 50 or so, I think you had said, right? It's in the
51.
51. So pop 51, I think like half of this value, maybe more, is about the slab, which is important. The grade's obviously important, but wow. This is, I think we kind of agreed that this was undergraded. So interesting. There's the Frank Patrick, sells for $1,230. The PSA 6 Gordie Howe first tops card does $13.25. Less than the last one. I feel like we saw one as recent as last week or the week before, Josh, that did like $1,600. Seems to stick out to me. If you're going to go look at that, I'm just going to read the last comment here from Ali. Says 2015 OPC Red Prism is out of 149. Now they're at 199. Not sure what year it changed, and you have the McDavid. Cool.
Thanks for the correction.
So
I'll have it in a second, Jeremy.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, last one that sold it's been a while for Fanatics. There was one that sold at REA for $2,000 in August. And, a lot of it comes down to like with, I think these 5, 6, 4, 5, 6 grades, it really comes down to the individual card itself.
Certainly does. I feel like I've seen something more recently, but maybe not.
April of 2023 was the last Fanatics.
Here's what I saw. here's what I saw on the on October 24th, a PSA 4 on a different platform sold for $1,390. Now I don't know if that's Canadian or USD. I'm not sure if that's Canadian or USD. Oh, that's USD. So, but
Okay.
it was a super beautiful 4 that was nicer than. That's why I thought it was this card or a similar one, because it was a super beautiful 4 and in a much more recent slab. So I think this is the right price on this card right here that it went for tonight. I think that's the right price because I don't think it's as strong as the 6 would be today. PSA 9 Messi, $1,110. The PSA 6 Topps Gretzky, $1,050. $840 on the Black Diamond Gold from first year Black Diamond. And look at that. Connor Bedard, Young Guns. Now, last night when I was on doing Sports Cards Live, Josh, I actually brought up the pop report on this card, and it was at 5,950 or something, right around there, or 60 even. It was almost at 6,000. Did you know, has it hit 6,000 yet?
No, I haven't looked yet.
Well, here, I'm gonna show us that. Well, here's what I'll do. Just give me one sec, guys. I just want to. Okay.
While you're pulling that up, I think Doc House referenced this. So on October 20th, so it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
In the weekly, there was a PSA 8 of the 1954 Gordie Howe that went for $11,100.
Okay. So I'm sort of onto it. David G. Well, yeah, definitely say hello at Expo, please, to both of us. The Bedard is now at 5,975. So it's gone up since last night when I brought it up by about 20 or so. And I said last night that I can see the Bedard being at 6,000 by Monday. And I think by the end of tomorrow, we'll probably be at 6,000 on the Bedard. Now,
I think you're right.
CC is saying that I don't believe the Howe was sold. Still bidding. Okay, so did I misread it? Yeah, He's right. Yeah, thank you, CC. CC to the rescue. There could be more bids coming in still on this card. We do still have the end of this 5-minute window and the next 5-minute window, so we'll see what happens there. Let's now.
Hey, well, one more note, Jeremy, on the Bedard PSA 10, because I was just looking it up. So I think on the PSA Pop report, you were showing there's like 13,800 graded, 13,004. Well, 13,005. Call it that. So another interesting kind of milestone for this card is, for a long time, the most graded PSA hockey card has been the 1990 OPG Premier Jaromir Jagr. That has 12,615 graded copies by PSA. So there's a new king in that regard too, where the Bedard Young Guns is the most graded hockey card ever by PSA.
Really? Wow. It's the most graded card ever, and it's only been around for about 7 or 8 months.
In fairness and conversation, if you look at the total pop of the Jagr OPG Premier, that's 18,500. So there's 4,400 at Beckett, 1,200 at SGC, and 200 at CGC. So it's the Bedard's got a little bit of ways to go there, but again, the 13,400 is only PSA 2.
And it's good that you point out that distinction, because it's also important to note that, like, back when the Jagr, for the past 30 years, when the Jagr was being graded, Beckett was as important and as used as much as PSA was, if not more, for several of those years. So that's actually really interesting. And I think that is you can say now that Connor Bedard is the most frequently graded hockey card by PSA, but I think there's an asterisk there because of what you just said, that, but you can't really consider the most graded hockey card of all time because of the Jagr. But if you were to look at,
okay, so the total pop of the Bedard is 15,200. So it's about 3,200 shy of the most graded hockey card ever across any grading company.
So 13.5 by PSA, 15.2 altogether. So 1,700 by other major grading companies. Where if you look
Yep.
at the Yager, how many were by Beckett?
4,400
versus 1,700 Bedard. I'm actually surprised that Bedard is that close on the amount of Yagers in Beckett slabs. It just goes to show how many people are grading cards right now, and how many are potentially how many are being printed or at least broken out of their cardboard and foil packaging. So Sundin here says PSA only graded one Bedard acetate Young Guns. He's more rare than he thought. Yeah, that's an interesting thing about this. There's only one acetate. Clear cuts, 143 deluxe, which are out of 250. There's 39 exclusives out of 100. They've done 20% of those. 3 of the 10 high gloss, that's 30%. 456 outbursts, and only one of the red outburst, which is out of 25. Silver foils, that's a EPAC achievement card. There's been 41. Same with speckled rainbow foil, only 15. I wonder because to me, Josh, I just don't have interest in like achievement cards or EPAC exclusive cards. I want, when there are pack pulled cards, I want my cards pack pulled. Now, I wonder as time goes by and people care less about how cards were distributed, and I think we're already seeing that with like the Star 101, for example, Jordan. I wonder if the pop report is what's going to drive, and it already
maybe.
I shouldn't even. It's not like I need to ask this question. I think it will drive demand as these cards come out of vault, like the EPAC vault, and make their way into the free flowing market. I think we're going to see people go after and say, "Hey, there's only 15 speckled rainbow foils. Why wouldn't I want that instead of an exclusives where there's or instead of a deluxe? I want the speckled rainbow foil because." There's so fewer of them.
Well, one of the things that I've been meaning to look at and might in the near future, just based on this conversation, kind of re-piqued my interest, is looking at the price difference between the speckled rainbow and the base, right? Because the speckled rainbow is essentially 15 Young Guns. So, how good of a deal is it to actually burn 15 Bedard Young Guns in order to get a speckled rainbow foil? Do you get your money out of it in that case? And because what a lot of people also assume is that they're all PSA 10s, and they're not. There's actually zero. Think about that. So 15 people have burned 15 Bedard Young Guns, and there's been 0 PSA 10s.
Yeah, and 3/8 as well on that. So it's interesting. Then you come back up to the base and look at these numbers. They're obscene.
Well, the point we always make on the Bedard base is, so his like gem rate's like 44%, and like Jack Hughes is 72%. If this release had the same gem rate, or Bedard's base had the same gem rate as Jack Hughes, like his, I think his Young Guns PSA 10 would be over 9,000 right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. $1,620 is what the 1954 Topps Gordie Howe PSA 6 ends up selling for, which is more than what that beautiful 4 sold for. So I think that's a fair price on this card for the grade. It is an older slab, and if it was a stronger 6, it could have sold for more. I think that kind of goes without saying. The Card Hunter says the hobby future is bright. Might have to chase Chicago in breaks. Well, get in line there, Mr. Card Hunter, because that's the chase team for sure. Not cheap. But also consider these are last year's products, right? These are 2023 products that card came out of. We just had the Series 1 of 2024 be released. So that card is not in there, just as an FYI. All right, Josh. It was fun. It was fun talking about some, the fact that the Fanatics Collect platform threw us for a loop today versus how we usually do this, where we can see what's left alive out of the cards we're watching. We can't do that right now, and I don't know if we'll be able to do that next. Well, there won't be a show next Sunday because we will both be like still in Toronto or traveling home from the Toronto Expo. So no hockey show next Sunday, but we should be back here the 2 Sundays after that to finish off the month of November. And we'll get back to you on, December being holiday season and all that, but I'm sure we'll get a few shows in at that in December as well. But and hopefully we can either they add the feature back to add more cards per view per page, so we don't have to change pages so much, and maybe also let us see. I need to just log out and log back in so I can see my favorite. That's the thing, Josh. Yeah, I got to clear my cache, I guess, as they say out there in the hip IT world. Jeff McMahon, thank you so much. Appreciate the best wishes for Expo and safe travels. Thank you, Card Hunter. Everybody else, Josh, you got an episode of the Gong Show dropping in a few hours?
Yep, locked and loaded. 3 a.m. We'll have another one on Thursday that we're working on right now, and then Rip Party Friday night. Can't wait for that.
Friday night Rip Party. Check that. And so people that are watching us right now here that aren't going to be at the Expo, maybe if any people don't listen to the Gong Show, because you guys at Rip Party, you guys have I want to swear here. I'm going to use a mild swear, a crap ton of giveaways that you're giving away to people who are not at Expo, for people who are tuning in from home. Where do people need to go in order to have a chance to win some of these giveaways? How do they qualify?
It'll be our YouTube. So it's Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We think we're going to have somewhere around 70 boxes that we're going to be giving away. A lot of these they range from a lure to the cup. And if you win a box, we'll do kind of like you've done. We'll do drawings in the chat via hashtag. You win a box, we open it on live stream, and we send you the hits. So it wasn't intended to have that many giveaways. It's been a beautiful surprise, and it's kind of this thing has taken a life of its own. But I'm really, really excited, and it should be a really fun time. And that's the whole point of it, is just a bunch of people having fun together, and being able to do these giveaways will kind of bring more people, I think, into that fun.
And so these guys, the Gong Show guys, along with a handful of Gong Show supporters, are going to be at Chateau Gong Show near the Expo, broadcasting this out on YouTube. I'm going to be in the house with you. I'll be there with you and some of your other Gong Show supporter friends. I'm going to be opening up a box of O-Pee-Chee Platinum, because everyone who shows up to the house has to break a box. I'm going to do O-Pee-Chee Platinum. Cannot wait to break that box. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And tune in, guys, because it's going to be a marathon. As I said on Sports Cards Live last night, I don't envy Josh and Phil and Baba Louie, the guys that are really running the Gong Show, because I think these guys are going to be up till 5 a.m. breaking boxes. I'm going to have to leave at some point and go to sleep, Josh, because I got a big day there on Sunday. But tune in, guys, and tune in whenever, because there's lots of giveaways and you can win something, and that's pretty cool. So
yeah, you're screwed. I have to interview Grant Fuhr at 10:45 the next morning, and Mikey Singer's already laughing at me that he says it's going to be a total train wreck. So if you're at the Expo, go to the main stage at 10:45 and watch a complete disaster unfold, because it'll be really funny.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will play back up for you in the event you are still breaking at 10:45 a.m. I will I'll happily go fill in for you and interview Grant Fuhr on the stage for you. All right. This was fun, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And Friday night Rip Party, Thursday night after the Expo ends, 8 p.m. is the networking event at Jack Astor's. Everybody is invited. We got the appetizers provided by Upper Deck. They're sponsoring the event. Very grateful to them for that. We got 3 waves of appetizers coming out. I've already got them ordered. Talk to management. They're coming out. They're actually doubling the service staff in the room that night, because it was a little bit shoddy last time we were there. So they know they're going to have great service in the room for all of us. So that's Thursday night. If you're at the Expo on Thursday, definitely come by my booth, 1315. Come by, say hello. You'll go see Josh will be there as well in the Slab Sharks area. Go see him, say hello over there. And looking forward to seeing everybody. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate the safe travel wishes. Wish that for all of us as well, and everyone else who's heading over there. Ali, thank you. We'll see you. Maybe see you there as well. Doghouse, appreciate that. We'll see you there eventually. Josh, thanks for showing up tonight. Thanks for doing this. We're something like 65 episodes of this that we've done. So Pretty crazy. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Again, we'll skip a week. We'll be back here on what will be the 17th of November. But again, Gongshow episodes coming up, some Sports Cards Lives as well, guys. We'll see you back here later. This episode of the Fanatics Collect weekly hockey auction ending watch party here on Sports Cards Live is now over. Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.